What do you say to yourself when no one else is listening? In those quiet moments when you look in the mirror or lie awake at night, the words you whisper inside your own head become the most powerful voice in your life. That voice can lift you up or it can tear you down. It can fuel your courage or it can drain your strength. The truth is, the way you speak to yourself creates the foundation of who you become, because every thought plants a seed that shapes your actions, your habits, and ultimately your destiny. Think about how often you criticize yourself, how often you replay mistakes, or how easily you believe the negative things others say about you. Most people live trapped in an endless cycle of self-doubt, constantly fighting invisible battles within their own minds. But here's the truth. You must hear it today. You have the power to choose a different story. You have the power to replace words of weakness with words of strength. And when you do, everything begins to change. Imagine waking up each morning with a sense of clarity, telling yourself words that remind you of your worth, your purpose, and your potential. Imagine moving through your day guided not by fear, but by courage. Imagine falling asleep at night with peace in your heart instead of regret. This is not a fantasy. This is the result of a simple but profound choice. The choice to speak to yourself differently. Psychologists have proven that self-talk shapes emotional resilience, confidence, and even physical performance. Athletes, leaders, and creators across history have mastered this secret. They knew that greatness does not begin in the arena or on the stage. It begins in the mind. If you can change your inner voice, you can change your entire life. And the first step is choosing the right words to repeat every single day. You may not believe it yet, but you are stronger than the battles you are fighting. You are braver than the doubts you are carrying, and you are far more capable than the mistakes of your past. Each day gives you a new opportunity to remind yourself of these truths. If you speak them with conviction, you will begin to see yourself differently. And when you see yourself differently, you will act differently. Confidence grows, fear fades, energy rises, life opens. That is why this message matters, because too many people let their inner dialogue become their prison. But you don't have to. You can choose to step out of the old cycle and into a new one. With every word you repeat, you rewire your brain. With every phrase you claim, you strengthen your identity. With every affirmation you embrace, you create momentum toward the life you want. So stay with this journey, because in the next moments, you will discover 9 powerful things to tell yourself every single day. 9 truths that will reprogram your mind, rebuild your confidence, and reshape the way you face life. These are not just words, they are tools, they are anchors. They are your daily armor against fear, doubt, and discouragement. If you take them seriously, they will transform the way you think, the way you feel, and the way you live. Today is the beginning of a new chapter in your story, and it all starts with a single decision: to speak to yourself with the power you deserve. Stay here, listen closely, because what you're about to hear has the power to change everything. The first truth you must tell yourself every day is simple, yet it has the power to reshape everything. I am enough. These 3 words carry more weight than most people ever realize, because deep inside, so many of us live with a quiet belief that we are not. We measure ourselves against impossible standards. We compare our journey to someone else's highlight reel, and we convince ourselves that no matter how hard we try, it will never be enough. This silent poison seeps into every corner of life. It makes you shrink back from opportunities. It makes you settle for less than you deserve. It makes you question whether you even have the right to dream bigger. This lie has already stolen too much from you, and it ends now. When you declare to yourself, I am enough, you reclaim your power, you silence the noise of comparison, and you ground yourself in truth. Being enough does not mean you have nothing left to learn or no room to grow. It means that right now, as you are, you carry value, you carry worth. You carry something inside you that no one else in this world can ever duplicate. The pursuit of growth and progress should not come from a place of shame or lack, but from a place of strength and recognition that you already hold the foundation you need. Psychology proves this. Research on self-compassion shows that people who believe they are enough don't stop striving. They actually strive harder, but the difference is they no longer chase out of desperation. They build from confidence, not fear. They push forward because they believe in their potential, not because they are trying to prove their value to others. That shift is powerful. It takes you out of survival mode and moves you into creation mode where possibilities expand and courage multiplies. Think about the weight that lifts when you stop carrying the lie that you are not enough. Suddenly you stop apologizing for existing. You stop hiding your voice. You stop holding yourself back out of fear that someone else is better, smarter, or more deserving. Instead, you begin to show up fully. You begin to speak with conviction. You begin to walk with a quiet strength that others can see, even if you don't notice it at first. This energy changes how people respond to you. Confidence is magnetic. Self-respect is undeniable. And it all begins with the decision to tell yourself every single day, I am enough. Imagine waking up tomorrow, looking in the mirror and saying those words out loud. At first, it might feel strange. You may not fully believe them, but with repetition, they begin to sink in. The mind is shaped by what it hears most often, and if you flood it with truth instead of lies, it will adapt. You will start to carry yourself differently. You will start to trust yourself more, and eventually you will realize that being enough is not about perfection, but about authenticity. This is why these words matter so deeply. They are not a fluffy affirmation. They are a weapon against self-doubt. They are a shield against comparison. They are a reminder that you were not born to live as a shadow of yourself. You were born to stand in the light of who you truly are. Every morning, every moment of weakness, every time doubt creeps in, return to this truth, I am enough. Speak it, believe it, live it, and watch how it transforms everything you touch. Once you anchor yourself in the truth that you are enough, the next truth must follow. I have the power to change my life. Too often people wait for permission. They wait for someone else to open a door, to recognize their worth, to validate their dreams. But waiting only keeps you stuck. Life does not transform through luck or chance. It transforms the moment you decide to step into your own power and claim responsibility for the direction you take. Think about how much time is lost believing circumstances define you. Yes, life can be unfair. Yes, the past may have left scars. But no matter where you started, you hold within you the ability to shift the path forward. Neuroscience proves that the brain is not fixed. It is constantly rewiring itself, shaping new patterns, strengthening new habits, and building new possibilities. Every choice you make sends a signal that creates change. Every step you take plants the seeds of a different future. The lie that keeps people stuck is the belief that change is impossible, that they are victims of destiny. But the truth is that destiny is not given, it is created. When you repeat to yourself, I have the power to change my life, you are reminding your mind to look for solutions instead of excuses. You stop asking, why me? And start asking, what can I do right now? That shift is the beginning of transformation. You have to understand that your current reality is not permanent. Where you are is not who you are. The person you are today is simply the result of the thoughts, decisions, and habits you have practiced until now. And the beauty of this truth is that if your past choices shaped your present, then your present choices can shape your future. Every day gives you a chance to take control back. Every day offers an opportunity to build momentum, no matter how small. When you internalize this, fear loses its grip. Fear thrives on the illusion that you are powerless. But once you realize the control you hold, fear shrinks. You stop being intimidated by the size of your goals, because you know that consistent action, no matter how small, compounds into unstoppable progress. Change may not happen overnight, but it begins in a single moment of decision. That moment can be now. The truth is, no one is coming to save you, and that is not meant to discourage you. It is meant to set you free. Because if no one else holds the power, then all of it is in your hands. That means you don't have to wait. You don't have to beg. You don't have to hope someone else sees your potential. You can move, you can act, you can rise. When you wake up tomorrow and remind yourself, I have the power to change my life, you are not just repeating words. You are declaring war against stagnation. You are breaking free from the chains of helplessness. You are stepping into the role of the creator of your own destiny. That truth, when spoken with conviction, ignites a fire that no obstacle can put out. Every great transformation begins with the belief that it is possible. And when you claim that belief for yourself, your life begins to move in a new direction, one decision at a time. With the knowledge that you have the power to change your life comes another truth that must live in your heart every day. My challenges are shaping me into someone stronger. Too often, we look at obstacles as punishment, as unfair burdens meant to hold us back. But the reality is that struggle is not the end of the road. It is the very path that carves resilience, courage, and depth within you. The moments that once felt impossible are often the very moments that later define your strength. Every setback, every disappointment, every heartbreak carries within it a hidden gift. That gift is growth. Growth does not come from comfort. Growth is forged in the heat of pressure, in the weight of trials, in the pain of pushing forward when giving up seems easier. Research in psychology shows that post-traumatic growth is real. Many people emerge from hardship not weaker, but stronger, more determined, and more compassionate than before. What broke them open also built them up. What tested their spirit also revealed their true power. When you tell yourself, my challenges are shaping me, you stop seeing problems as barriers and start seeing them as teachers. This perspective changes everything. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You begin to ask, what is this building inside me? That one shift takes you from victimhood to victory. It transforms pain into purpose and transforms resistance into resilience. Think about the strength you already carry because of the storms you have survived. You may not even realize it, but every scar tells a story of survival. Every wound that healed left you wiser every time you kept going. Despite the weight of fear, you built endurance. You have been gathering strength quietly, piece by piece, in ways you may not yet see. Challenges did not break you, they built you. And the proof is that you are still standing right now. The truth is that life will never remove challenges from your path. No matter how much you grow, new obstacles will appear. But when you understand they are shaping you, you no longer fear them. You face them with steady eyes, knowing that each one is carving out a stronger, more capable version of you. You stop resisting growth and begin to embrace it. That mindset alone can transform despair into determination. Strength is not the absence of hardship. Strength is the ability to keep moving through it. When you hold on to the belief that your struggles are shaping you, you take control of how they define you. They will not leave you bitter. They will leave you unbreakable. They will not crush you. They will refine you. They will not silence you. They will give you a voice that carries weight and authority. So the next time life places a mountain in front of you, remember this truth. That mountain is not there to stop you. It is there to teach you how to climb. Every step you take builds muscle. Every moment of struggle builds grit. And once you reach the top, you realize it was never about the mountain. It was about who you became on the way up. When you wake each day and remind yourself that your challenges are shaping you, you turn obstacles into stepping stones. You rise above fear. You step into your strength, and you keep becoming the person you were always meant to be. As challenges shape you into someone stronger, another truth becomes essential to carry in your heart each day. I choose progress over perfection. One of the greatest traps the mind creates is the illusion that everything must be flawless before it matters, that every step must be perfect before it is worth taking. This lie paralyzes dreams, silences voices, and keeps countless people frozen in hesitation. But the pursuit of perfection is not the pursuit of greatness. It is the pursuit of nothing, because it keeps you from ever starting. Progress, not perfection, is what builds momentum. Every small action, every imperfect step, every attempt you make becomes a brick laid in the foundation of your future. Psychology confirms that consistent progress, even in tiny amounts, fuels motivation far more than chasing flawless results. When the brain sees movement, it rewards you with energy, focus, and determination to keep going. That is why those who chase progress rise, while those who chase perfection stay stuck. When you tell yourself, I choose progress over perfection, you free yourself from the chains of impossible expectations. You give yourself permission to try, to stumble, to learn, and to grow. This does not mean lowering your standards or settling for mediocrity. It means understanding that excellence is born through repetition, adjustment, and persistence, not through waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect plan. Think of how much potential dies in silence because someone was too afraid to begin. How many ideas never see the light because their creators waited until it was flawless? How many lives remain unchanged because someone believed they were not ready yet? The truth is, no one is ever fully ready. Readiness is built through action. Confidence is built by doing. Mastery is built by trying, failing, adjusting, and trying again. When you embrace progress, you start to see mistakes not as proof of failure, but as proof of movement. Each setback becomes a lesson. Each flaw becomes a chance to refine. Each step forward, no matter how small, becomes a victory. This shift transforms your relationship with growth. Suddenly you stop judging yourself so harshly and start valuing the courage it takes to move. That self-compassion fuels persistence, and persistence creates breakthroughs. Perfection whispers lies that say you are not good enough yet, that you must wait, that you must hide. Progress speaks truth that says every step matters, every effort counts, and every day you move is a day you win. Which voice you choose to listen to will determine the life you build. If you cling to perfection, you remain stuck in fear. If you choose progress, you unlock the freedom to rise higher than you ever thought possible. Each morning, remind yourself that small steps lead to great change. Progress compounds, and the smallest daily actions can create unstoppable transformation over time. Choosing progress over perfection allows you to live with courage, with momentum, and with the humility to grow into the best version of yourself. You do not need to be perfect to be worthy. You do not need to be flawless to begin. You simply need to take the next step, then another and another. And when you look back, you will see that what seemed imperfect was always enough to move you forward into greatness. When you free yourself from the weight of perfection and step fully into progress, another truth must rise within you. I am worthy of love and respect. Without this belief, every achievement will feel empty. Every victory will feel hollow, and no amount of progress will silence the quiet ache inside. Human beings are wired for connection, and at the core of connection lies the question of worth. Too many carry the lie that they must earn love, that they must prove themselves before respect can be granted. But worth is not something you chase. It is something you already carry. The danger of forgetting this truth is that you begin to settle for less than you deserve. You accept toxic relationships. You stay silent when you should speak. You give more than you have until you are empty, all because you secretly fear you are not enough to be treated better. But the moment you begin to affirm your worth, the moment you say to yourself, I am worthy of love and respect, you set a new standard for how life and people are allowed to treat you. Psychology teaches that self-worth is not built from external validation, but from internal recognition. When you respect yourself, you unconsciously signal to others how to treat you. Boundaries become natural, not forced. Confidence becomes quiet, but unshakable. And the relationships you attract begin to align with the respect you already give yourself. This is not arrogance. This is self-honor. This is the foundation of healthy love, both for yourself and from others. Think about the weight you carry when you doubt your worth. Every compliment feels undeserved. Every opportunity feels temporary. Every moment of love feels like it could vanish if you are not careful enough. That constant fear robs you of peace. But when you live rooted in worthiness, love no longer feels fragile, and respect no longer feels conditional. You begin to understand that being worthy is not about perfection, performance, or pleasing everyone. It is about simply being human, carrying value by existing and honoring that truth daily. When you repeat these words to yourself, they begin to rewire the way you show up. You stand taller. You stop apologizing for taking space. You speak with clarity instead of hesitation. And in doing so, you invite into your life people and opportunities that recognize what you already know. You are worthy. This shift changes everything because the way you see yourself is the mirror through which the world learns to see you. The reality is, not everyone will give you love and respect freely, but that does not change your worth. Their inability to see your value does not make you less valuable. Their refusal to respect you does not make you undeserving of respect. It simply reveals who they are, not who you are. The choice you hold is whether you will believe the lies of rejection or stand firmly in the truth of your inherent value. Every morning, remind yourself that you are worthy of love and respect. Let those words sink deep until they shape your choices, your boundaries, your relationships, and your vision for the future. Because once you truly believe it, you will no longer beg for love. You will embody it. You will no longer chase respect, you will command it. And in that power, you will live as someone who no longer doubts their place in this world, but owns it fully. When you live from a place of knowing you are worthy of love and respect, you awaken another truth that must echo inside you every single day. My past does not define my future. Too many lives are lived under the shadow of regret, shame, or disappointment. Old mistakes replay like broken records. Harsh words from years ago still cut deep. Failures that once felt final keep whispering that nothing can change. But the past is not a prison unless you keep the door locked yourself. The truth is, your past is nothing more than a story already written. It cannot be changed, but it can be reframed. It can become your lesson instead of your sentence. It can become your teacher instead of your enemy. Psychology calls this reframing, the power to assign new meaning to old events. When you change the meaning, you change the weight. And when you change the weight, you free yourself to move forward unburdened. Telling yourself my past does not define my future releases you from the chains of who you used to be. You are not the same person you were when you made those mistakes. You have grown, you have learned, you have evolved. The version of you standing here today is wiser and stronger than the one who stumbled yesterday. Carrying shame for past decisions is like punishing a healed wound, unnecessary and destructive. You are allowed to outgrow the person you once were. The fear of the past often comes from the illusion that others will never forget, that you will always be labeled by your worst moments. But the truth is, people are far more focused on their own battles than they are on your scars. And even if some choose to judge, their judgment cannot imprison you unless you hand them the key. Your worth, your future, your growth, none of it is controlled by the opinions of those who refuse to see your change. Every great life has chapters of pain, failure, and regret. But those chapters are not the whole story. They are stepping stones, necessary bridges that brought you to this moment. Without them, you would not have the depth, the empathy, the resilience you carry now. The past prepared you for what is coming, but it does not dictate where you are going. That choice belongs entirely to you. When you believe this truth, you stop dragging old chains into new days. You stop sabotaging your future by reliving old versions of yourself. You begin to step into your power as the author of what happens next. Every sunrise becomes a reminder that life renews itself. The future is unwritten and your pen is still in your hand. So speak these words to yourself with conviction. My past does not define my future. Say it until the weight lifts. Say it until the fear dissolves. Say it until you feel the courage to take bold steps into new territory. Because once you let go of the past as your master, you free yourself to create a future without limits. The next chapter of your story is waiting. And this time, you get to write it with clarity, with strength, and with the unshakable knowledge that who you were is not who you must remain. When you free yourself from the weight of the past and claim the power of your future, you must also remind yourself daily of this truth. I am in control of my attitude and my response. Life will always bring storms. People will say things that hurt. Circumstances will unfold beyond your control. But no one can decide how you will respond except you. This truth is what separates those who are broken by hardship from those who rise through it. Your attitude is the lens through which you see the world. A positive lens sharpens your vision, turning obstacles into opportunities and setbacks into lessons. A negative lens distorts reality, making challenges feel heavier than they are and hope feel further than it is. Psychology shows that optimism and resilience are not fixed traits. They are habits of thought. They are choices you practice, responses you strengthen every day. Telling yourself, I am in control of my attitude and my response takes the power back from chaos. It means that even when you cannot control what happens around you, you can always control what happens within you. No insult can define you if you choose not to believe it. No disappointment can crush you if you choose to see it as redirection. No storm can drown you if you choose to stand firm in the belief that it will pass and that you will grow through it. Consider how much energy is wasted fighting things you cannot change. You cannot rewrite what someone else said. You cannot undo what has already happened, but you can decide what meaning it carries. You can decide whether it becomes a weight that drags you down or a lesson that lifts you higher. That decision belongs entirely to you. This is where your real power lives, not in controlling everything outside you, but in mastering everything inside you. When you accept this truth, your peace is no longer fragile. It no longer depends on the behavior of others or the perfection of circumstances. Your peace becomes something rooted in choice, in the steady reminder that no matter what comes, you will decide who you are in the middle of it. That kind of strength cannot be taken away because it is not given by the world. It is built within you. This shift is life-changing. Instead of reacting with anger, you respond with clarity. Instead of drowning in despair, you rise with determination. Instead of letting negativity dictate your day, you choose the perspective that fuels growth. Over time, this choice rewires your brain, strengthens emotional stability, and gives you the courage to face challenges without being consumed by them. Each day, when you wake and repeat these words, you prepare yourself to walk into the world unshaken. You remind yourself that while you may not choose every battle, you always choose your stance. While you may not control the winds, you always control how you set your sails. And in that control lies freedom. Say it until it becomes unshakable inside you. I am in control of my attitude and my response. With those words, you claim power that cannot be taken, no matter the storm. And with that power, you walk through life with strength, clarity, and the calm assurance that nothing outside of you can define what lives within you. When you stand firm in the power to control your attitude and response, another truth rises with equal force. My potential is greater than my fears. Fear has a way of disguising itself as reason, whispering that you are not ready, not capable, not strong enough. It builds walls in the mind long before they ever exist in reality. Yet, fear is nothing more than a projection, a story of what could go wrong. Potential, on the other hand, is the reality of what could go right, and it is always larger than the shadow fear casts. Every dream worth chasing will stir fear. Every step into growth will trigger doubt. This does not mean you are weak. It means you are human. Fear is simply the body's alarm system, designed to protect you from the unknown. But what psychology shows us is that courage is not the absence of fear. It is action in spite of it. Those who rise in life are not those who never feel fear, but those who feel it and move anyway, trusting that their potential is more powerful. When you remind yourself each day, my potential is greater than my fears, you reframe fear as fuel. You begin to see it not as a stop sign, but as a signal that you are moving towards something meaningful. Fear never shows up when you are standing still. It appears when you are on the edge of change, when you are stretching beyond what is comfortable. And that edge is where growth lives. Think about what happens when you let fear dictate your life. Dreams remain dormant. Talents stay hidden. Opportunities pass by. But when you believe in your potential, you start moving anyway. You take the step even when your hands shake. You speak even when your voice trembles. And each time you do, fear loses its grip because action proves it wrong. You begin to realize that fear was only smoke, and your strength was the fire that burned through it. This truth is a weapon against hesitation. It is the reminder that your potential has no ceiling except the one you place above it. The human spirit is capable of extraordinary resilience, creativity, and achievement, but most never tap into it because they surrender to fear. You do not have to. You can decide that fear may visit, but it will never stay because your belief in your potential is louder than its lies. Each day you claim this truth, you unlock more of who you really are. Potential is not something waiting in the future. It is something alive within you now, waiting to be activated. Fear cannot erase it, doubt cannot diminish it, and failure cannot destroy it. The only thing that can bury your potential is your refusal to believe in it. So repeat it until your soul feels it. My potential is greater than my fears. Let those words push you forward when your mind says stop. Let them carry you through when fear feels overwhelming, because the reality is you are stronger than you think, braver than you know, and capable of far more than fear will ever allow you to see. And once you live from that truth, there is no limit to how high you can rise. When you embrace the truth that your potential is greater than your fears, another truth must anchor itself deep inside you. Today is a gift, and I will not waste it. Fear often pushes us to live in tomorrow, worrying about what could happen. Regret often pulls us back into yesterday, replaying what has already been lost. But the only moment you ever truly hold in your hands is the one you are living right now. And the way you use this moment will shape every tomorrow you long for. The danger of forgetting this truth is that life begins to slip by unnoticed. Days blur into weeks, weeks into months, months into years. You wake up one day realizing that while you were waiting for the perfect time, the time you had was quietly slipping away. Psychologists call this present bias, the tendency to undervalue the power of the present moment. Yet the present is where all creation happens. The present is where every breakthrough begins. When you tell yourself, today is a gift and I will not waste it, you shift your mind into gratitude and urgency at the same time. Gratitude because you recognize that no moment is promised, and urgency because you understand that life is too short to delay what matters. This balance creates energy, clarity, and focus. You stop drifting through your days and you start directing them. Consider how powerful it feels to wake up with intention, to say, this day matters, to say, I will not live it half asleep. Every sunrise becomes an invitation to build, to grow, to love, to move closer to the person you want to become. And when you live with that awareness, even small actions begin to carry weight. Every choice you make in the present moment becomes an investment in the future you desire. The truth is that wasted days become wasted lives, and wasted lives do not come from one dramatic mistake. They come from a slow pattern of neglecting the value of each day. But the opposite is also true. Meaningful lives are built one meaningful day at a time. If you honor today, tomorrow takes care of itself. If you give your best now, you create momentum that cannot be stopped. This does not mean you must do everything at once or live every second under pressure. It means choosing to be awake, choosing to be intentional, choosing to honor the time you have instead of letting it slip away unnoticed. It means understanding that small steps matter, that presence matters, and that joy is found not only in reaching your goals, but in experiencing the moments that carry you there. When you repeat this truth daily, it begins to shape your decisions. You spend less time on distractions and more on purpose. You stop waiting for motivation and begin acting from discipline. You stop postponing dreams and start planting seeds today. And in that shift, you discover a power many never find, the ability to live fully right here, right now, without delay. So speak it to yourself with conviction. Today is a gift, and I will not waste it. Let those words remind you that life is fragile, but also overflowing with possibility. Let them push you to move with urgency, to act with courage, to love with depth. Because when you treat each day as a gift, your life itself becomes a gift to yourself, to others, and to the world. When you recognize today as a gift not to be wasted, another truth must become part of your daily voice. I have everything I need to begin. The mind often convinces us that the right time will come later, that we must wait for more knowledge, more resources, more confidence before we can start. But this belief is a trap. Waiting for the perfect conditions only delays the life you are capable of creating right now. The truth is that everything you need to take the first step is already within your reach. Perfectionism and hesitation whisper the same lie, that you are not ready. Yet history and psychology prove otherwise. Progress has always been built by those who started where they were, with what they had, even when it didn't feel like enough. Action is what unlocks growth. Action is what creates momentum. Action is what reveals resources and strength you didn't even know you had. Readiness is not a requirement for beginning. Beginning is what makes you ready. When you tell yourself, I have everything I need to begin, you silence the excuses that keep you standing still. You remind yourself that the gap between where you are and where you want to be will only close through movement. No plan, no thought, no amount of waiting will replace the power of a single step forward. That step might feel small, but small steps compound into unstoppable progress when repeated with consistency. Think about the weight lifted when you no longer wait for permission. You no longer tell yourself that you must be perfect first. You no longer let the illusion of someday steal today's opportunity. Instead, you claim the truth that you are capable now, not later. You begin to live with courage, knowing that growth comes not from hesitation, but from motion. The science of confidence shows us that belief grows after action, not before. People do not feel ready and then act. They act and then they feel ready. Confidence is built like muscle, through repetition, through practice, through experience. By starting with what you have, you give yourself the chance to grow into what you need. By moving with what is available, you open doors that staying still could never reveal. This truth destroys the myth that you are missing something before you can live fully. you are not missing anything. The tools you hold may not look perfect, but they are enough to create progress. The knowledge you carry may not feel complete, but it is enough to begin the journey. And every step forward will bring new lessons, new tools, new opportunities that you could never discover if you kept waiting. Say these words until they sink into your bones. I have everything I need to begin. Let them cut through doubt. Let them quiet the voice that says you are not ready. Let them remind you that the only thing standing between you and progress is the decision to start. Because once you begin, fear loses power, hesitation loses its grip, and possibility begins to open before you. The future you want does not require perfect conditions. It requires courage in the present, and the courage you need is already inside you waiting to be claimed. You do not have to wait another day. You do not have to wait another moment. You already have enough to begin, and beginning is enough to change everything. When you accept that you already have everything you need to begin, the next truth emerges with undeniable force. I am responsible for the life I create. This is the moment where excuses lose their grip, where blame loses its voice, and where ownership becomes the foundation of freedom. For too long, it is easy to hand power to circumstances, to point fingers at the past, at other people, at unfair breaks. But as long as responsibility lives outside of you, so does your power. The turning point comes when you decide to take it back. Responsibility is not about guilt or shame. It is about claiming control. It is the recognition that while you cannot always choose what happens, you always choose what you do with it. It is the truth that every choice you make builds a brick in the structure of your life. And when you realize this, you stop waiting for life to change on its own, and you begin building with intention. Psychologists call this an internal locus of control, the belief that your actions shape your destiny. People who carry this mindset are more resilient, more motivated, and more successful because they no longer waste energy blaming what they cannot change. They direct their energy toward what they can. They understand that responsibility is not a burden, but a key. And when you hold the key, you can open any door. When you speak these words daily, I am responsible for the life I create, you begin to look at every decision differently. You start to see that your habits, your focus, your discipline, and your attitude are all tools carving your future. Each time you choose growth over comfort, discipline over delay, courage over fear, you are writing the story of who you will become. No one else can write that story for you. The beauty of responsibility is that it liberates you. If your life depended only on chance, you would always be powerless. But when you know your choices matter, you hold the pen. This does not mean every day will be easy, but it means every day is meaningful. Each moment becomes a chance to take ownership, to direct your energy toward building the life you want, instead of surrendering to the life you fear. When you claim this truth, victimhood no longer fits you. You stop waiting for the world to be fair, because fairness is not the measure of your success. Focus is. You stop waiting for someone to hand you opportunities because you are willing to create them. You stop waiting for permission because responsibility has already given you the right to move forward. Every morning, let this truth shape your mindset. You are responsible. Not your past, not your circumstances, not the people who doubted you or the doors that closed against you. You. And with that responsibility comes an unshakable sense of power. Because if you are responsible, then you are also capable of change. Say with conviction, I am responsible for the life I create. Let those words remove every excuse. Let them silence every lie that says you are powerless. Let them remind you that each choice is a step toward the life you desire. Responsibility is freedom. Responsibility is power. And when you own it fully, nothing can keep you from creating a life that reflects the greatness within you. When you take full responsibility for the life you create, a new belief must rise within you. I am stronger than my struggles. Life will test you. Obstacles will appear. Pain will come. Setbacks will arrive without warning. But none of these things define you. What defines you is how you rise when life tries to push you down. Strength is not the absence of struggle. Strength is forged in the fire of struggle. Every challenge you face is not proof of weakness, but proof of opportunity. A chance to discover what you are truly made of. The human spirit is resilient beyond measure. Research shows that people who endure great adversity often emerge with greater courage, deeper wisdom, and stronger purpose. Psychologists call this post-traumatic growth, the ability to grow stronger because of struggle, not in spite of it. This means your pain is not a dead end, it is a doorway. Every hardship you face carries within it the seed of transformation if you choose to nurture it. When you say to yourself, I am stronger than my struggles, you refuse to let challenges shrink you. You remind yourself that nothing you face is bigger than the power within you. Struggles are temporary. Your strength is permanent. Fear is fleeting. Your courage endures. Pain is real, but so is your ability to rise above it. The more life tries to break you, the more you are given the chance to reveal your true power. Think about the weight that lifts when you stop seeing struggles as signs of failure. They are not evidence that you are weak. They are invitations to grow. Every obstacle is a lesson in disguise, every setback a training ground for resilience. When you adopt this mindset, struggle no longer paralyzes you. It energizes you. You begin to face challenges not with despair, but with determination. Strength is not always loud. Sometimes it is the quiet decision to keep moving forward when everything inside you wants to quit. Sometimes it is the simple choice to take one more step, to hold on one more day, to believe one more time when doubt whispers in your ear. These small acts of persistence are where strength is born. And each time you choose to endure, your inner power multiplies. Say it until it becomes unshakable. I am stronger than my struggles. Let it remind you that storms do not last forever, but the lessons they bring can last a lifetime. Let it remind you that pain is temporary, but the strength you build through it will serve you for the rest of your life. Let it remind you that no matter what you face, you are not broken. You are being forged into something unbreakable. This truth is not about denying the difficulty of your struggles. It is about refusing to let them defeat you. You have survived everything you thought you couldn't, and you are still here. That is proof enough of your strength. You are not defined by the weight you carry, but by the power with which you rise. Hold on to this truth, because when you know you are stronger than your struggles, there is nothing in this world that can keep you from moving forward. When you embrace the truth that you are stronger than your struggles, another truth demands to live in your heart. I am worthy of love and respect. Too many people move through life believing they must earn their worth, that they are only valuable when they achieve, when they please, when they fit into someone else's mold. But your worth is not something to be negotiated. It is not something to be proven. It is something you were born with, something no failure, no rejection, no opinion can take away. The voice of doubt often tells you otherwise. It reminds you of your mistakes, your flaws, your imperfections, as if these define your value. But here is what psychology teaches us. Self-worth is the foundation of all growth. Without it, every victory feels empty. Every success feels temporary because you secretly believe you are not enough. When you begin to affirm your worth, you build a foundation for courage, confidence, and peace. You stop chasing validation and start living in alignment with who you are. Telling yourself every day, I'm worthy of love and respect is not about arrogance. It is about dignity. It is about treating yourself with the same kindness you would offer to someone you care about deeply. It is about refusing to accept relationships, jobs, or environments that diminish your light. When you hold this truth, you set boundaries not from anger, but from clarity. You begin to protect your energy because you know it is valuable. The way you treat yourself teaches the world how to treat you. If you speak to yourself with harshness, if you doubt yourself constantly, if you diminish your own voice, others may follow your lead. But when you stand tall in your worth, when you remind yourself that you deserve love and respect, people begin to rise to that standard. And those who do not will simply fall away. Worthiness is not conditional. It does not wait until you lose weight, until you achieve a goal, until you reach a milestone. It is already yours. The moment you begin to own that, everything shifts. You stop begging for crumbs of approval and start demanding the feast of self-respect. You stop bending yourself to fit into spaces that do not honor you, and instead, you begin to create spaces where your soul can breathe. Imagine the freedom of waking each day knowing you are enough as you are. Imagine making decisions not from fear of rejection, but from confidence in your worth. Imagine relationships built not on insecurity, but on mutual respect. That is the power of this truth. It transforms not only how you see yourself, but how you show up in the world. Say with certainty, I am worthy of love and respect. Let those words break the chains of self-doubt. Let them heal the wounds left by rejection. Let them silence the lies that tell you that you must be more to deserve more. Your worth is not in question. It never was. The only question is whether you will finally believe it. And when you do, you unlock the strength to live boldly, love deeply, and walk through life with unshakable confidence.